The Arizona Coyotes continue to surprise and impress. They are still above 500, and we are more than halfway through the season. Robyn Leano of Locked On Arizona Coyotes joins us to discuss that, the arena situation, and what we can expect in the second half from the Coyotes.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On NHL your first listen. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you can get new episodes as soon as they drop. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show the co-host of Locked On Coyotes, Robyn Leano. And Robyn, what is it with the Coyotes? They continue to find ways to win. Not a lot of people expected them to be above 500 this year, and we're approaching the All Star break, and they still are. What's been the reasons for this team's success this year?
You know, I think a lot of it has to deal with the talent that Bill Armstrong put together over the offseason. It kind of goes with talent that he already knew that these are players that want to be in Arizona. They want to put on a good show. And it just seems from the get-go they've had good chemistry together, whether it's, like Nick Bukestad with Lawson Krause or Logan Cooley with Jason Zucker or Alex Kerfoot with Clayton Keller and Nick Schmaltz. Like, this, for some reason, the chemistry works for everything, and all of them are like every player is putting in an equal amount of effort, and it really shows how important each player has been to the team.
Talk to me about Logan Cooley. Obviously, high expectations. We're halfway through the season, a little more. 4 goals, 21 points so far. Discuss his progress.
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of a disappointing beginning to the season. He kind of looked a little bit slow. He was hesitant on taking shots. He kind of just looked a little bit hesitant out there. His skating was great, but at the beginning of the season, I felt like he had a really good presence. But I think one of the things a lot of us were looking at is they put him alongside Clayton Keller on the first power play unit, and I felt like he kind of I can't speak exactly what he's thinking, but it seemed like he kind of was hesitating in the sense that he wanted the Keller to take everything because he's the point guy in the entire team, essentially. They moved him down, I think, about a month ago from the first power play unit to the second power play unit, and everything changed. He seemed like his confidence is there. He's taking shots. He's actually, getting those a lot more high danger shots out there too. He's really getting a lot more confident out there on the ice.
Got to talk about Connor Ingram and what he's meant to this team. How important has he been?
Oh, he's been fantastic. He was sure like any goalie, he'll take a couple bad games. I think this month hasn't been his best, but overall, he has been an integral part to the team that's gone on runs that, for example, I want to say back, either last month or 2 months ago now, we're going, on a 6-game winning streak against some of the best in the league. And he's the man behind it. I think he's pretty on toward the top in shutouts too in the league right now. He's really impressed. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with maybe being, and I think this is the case, I could say, for a lot of Coyotes players, is they were, what the term I'm looking for here? It's they were undervalued at first. They were overlooked by their former teams. And even then, even when he first came to the Coyotes, we kind of overlooked him a little bit because he was the guy that they just beat the hell in the last game of the previous season. And he's just getting a lot more comfortable out there. He seems that he's just finding his place and is trusting his defense as well.
got to talk about the elephant in the room. Anytime we talk Coyotes, the arena situation always comes up. What is the latest that you've heard about the quest for a permanent new home?
Yeah, so the last we heard was about a little over a month ago. We heard that the Coyotes were zeroing in on a spot of land in Northeast Phoenix. This spot particularly is right next to the Mayo Clinic and the what's known as the Desert Ridge Marketplace. It's a wide open piece of land up there. There's not a whole lot. It's next to the Scottsdale border. It's a little further out north, so those in the southeast, like here, me and Mesa and Gilbert, those people are going to be a little bit out of the way. But that's where all the wealth is up there. That's why I think that we're hearing about their zeroing in on that land. A couple things is I'm thinking that they need to get it done within the next couple of weeks. They said that the trade deadline was like the All Star break actually was their soft deadline to at least get most of the things going in, finalized. But because we haven't heard much since, it's kind of hard to gauge where they're at. I will say that it's getting close. The only thing that concerns me is the land that they're looking at is state trust land right now. It's public state trust land, which means that in order for it to be purchased, in order for Alex Meruelo to purchase that land, it has to go up to a public auction first. So it goes to a public auction. Alex Meruelo has to buy the land, and then they kind of do the rest of the process. It's not a done deal, and it's sure gonna keep a lot of us on our toes. But it's just, they're almost there. I feel like we're rounding the corner here.
All right. Well, I know you'll be on top of it all season long. Trade deadline's coming up. It's about 6 weeks away, give or take. What do you expect just overall philosophically for the Coyotes to try to do come trade deadline time?
Yeah, I feel like the Coyotes are in an interesting situation in where they are now a bubble team. I feel like what Bill Armstrong is going to take a look at is maybe not necessarily look at trying to go. He definitely won't go on the all in and try to make the playoffs. But I feel like he's just trying to do some fine tweaking, a little bit of fine tweaking, adding some players they feel like they need. There are some players out there who have been, just a couple players who have come up on the board that might be considered trading for. But I feel like at this point, it's based off of whatever Bill Armstrong says they need at the time, and just fine tweak to see if they can make a push for the playoffs. But that's not the ultimate goal in this one. It's just, kind of prove that you belong and prove that that when you're playing this Coyotes team, that you're gonna have to work for a win.
Any players you feel they might be looking to move on from at the trade deadline?
Ooh, at this point, it's tough. I think the one thing that we've talked about on Locked On Coyotes is, and it's been a long time since we mentioned this player's name in terms of trade talks, but Karel Vejmelka, the current backup goaltender, I feel like that's we're getting maybe close to his departure from the team. Is via trade. It seems like they're trying to get as much reps for him to up his value as much as possible, because at this point, as we mentioned with Connor Ingram earlier, I feel like he's getting his confidence, and they're actually feeling more comfortable with having him as a de facto starter. And you don't need someone like Vejmelka as like a 1B. We need just someone who can maybe be another backup. But who knows? I think at this point, Bill Armstrong has surprised me. He does a lot of different interesting.
Well, should be an interesting second half in Arizona for a lot of reasons. Robyn, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you and your co-host on social media?
Yeah, you can find us anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify. Also ad free on Amazon Music to those Amazon Prime subscribers. You can find us on social media. We're on X at LO_Coyotes. I'm personally at Robyn with a Y _LEANO. And my co-host, Matthew Jacobson, is at The Easy Sports Guy.
All right, Robyn, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Gil.
Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers.